time. Hello and welcome to Into the Liminal Abyss Paranormal Podcast. I'm your show host, Shetan Noir, and on today's show, I have a guest from the Toledo area, and he has his own paranormal team, and we will bring him on the show. Hello, Dennis. How are you?
Hello? I am great. I'm awesome.
Great. So,
Doing good.
so, what is your background and how did you become interested in the paranormal?
Um, Basically, it was partly the shows and partly my interest. Um, I basically watched some of the shows, and then my interest was to find out if the shows were, faking some of it or if it was real. So I had to go out and see for myself. So basically, my first investigation was at the Toledo Yacht Club. I investigated that as a public ghost client and had a great experience, and it just took off from there.
Okay. Now, have you had any experiences with the paranormal? Any type of interactions with spirits?
Um, it's funny because people ask me if I had any kind of experiences with the paranormal when I was little or anything, or grew up in a haunted house, and I never did. So it's kind of funny. And it's funny when I get that question, because I laugh or chuckle every time, because it's, they find it funny too. So, but on the flip side, I will say the most and best evidence I captured was at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. I was up in fifth floor, room 502, where the nurse hung herself. And I was in there with two other females who were there because it was a public hotel. I just wanted to check out Waverly Hills and see what kind of experience I had to decide if I wanted to go back or not. Well, I was in there with two other girls. We were talking. Girl asked a question, responded on my REM pod, and then I could feel the energy in the one corner of the room, and then it shifted. When it shifted, one of the females was standing on my left, and I felt it shift. And I told her, I said, come here, you can feel the energy right here. Like, I had goosebumps. Well, the girl was right there on my left, and she felt a breath on her neck, and I heard the voice disembodied a female ask for help. I called it on my recorder, and I called it on my IR camera all at the same time. That was really crazy. I actually took off out of the room, down the hallway, through the children's ward, out to the roof, and had to gather my thoughts because I was not expecting that.
Yeah, it can be really surprising when you get any type of activity. Now, I was on your Facebook page and I saw that you have a paranormal group, and your group's actually kind of small. It's just you and two other people.
Yeah, it's me. Basically, my team is basically me, my wife, and I just had a new team member join. Um, but at this process, me and my wife have been on our own. We've had team members come, team members go, but that usually happens sometimes. But me and my wife have still moved forward and still continue doing the goals and the achievements that we want to do together.
Now, does that lead to, like, when you're investigating different locations and particularly if it's a new place, does that affect how you guys investigate? For me, I always think there's safety in numbers. So, when it's just an individual investigator, or just two people, I always kind of wonder if you don't get picked on more by the spirits.
Um, when it's me and my wife, sometimes we do get more activity, and sometimes we don't. When we're investigating for my YouTube series at a location, and we're filming and investigating, sometimes it could be hit or miss. We could get great EVPs over our spirit boxes and get no like physical activity. I mean, as much as people we talk to say, "Oh yeah, I was touching this area," or "I was touching this room," we don't experience anything like that sometimes, and it's like we are just, me and my wife are just like, okay, well then we're getting more EVPs than we are physical. We're not saying that the place may not be haunted, but what people don't realize sometimes is that their energy plays a role in activity. So if they go in with an open mind, they might get more activity. If you go in with a closed mind, you may not get as much. You got to open your mind. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, your perceptions always either help or ruin your experiences. Just like if you go into a location that's haunted and you're already afraid, they kind of manifest and feed off of that, and that encourages the spirits to be active. Whereas if you go in and you're positive and you're open to it, sometimes they don't want to interact with you.
Yep, yep, yep. That's why I tell people. Same thing I tell people who reach out to me about a haunted object. Everyone who follows my page knows I own over 80 haunted artifacts. If you don't have an open mind, you're not going to get as much activity as you want. You've got to have an open mind. The activity with haunted items are hit or miss. Believe me, I've had haunted artifacts for almost a year and a half to 2 years. I've had activity that would blow people's mind away. I've had activity, and I had not had activity that would go a week straight to 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden it'll pick back up for about a night or a day or two. And then it'll slow back down again. So.
Now with your haunted artifact collection, I saw a couple of pictures of the different things that are in the collection. But what are the most active items that you have in the collection itself?
In my collection itself, most haunted items I have is the wheelchair that dates back to the 1930s, 40s. I have a doll that was pulled from a house that was four doors down from the Manson murder home. That's active when it wants to be. The rocking horse is active when it wants to be. It has a little boy attached to it. Let's see, what else is active? Corinne, she's active when she wants to be. My Amish couple of dolls are active when they want to be. But I mean, some of my objects, I'm going to be honest, are hit or miss. The most active ones I just told you are probably the most active.
Okay. So, what kind of activity do you get from let's say like the dolls?
The dolls, well, the dolls I can get the K2s to light up, my K2 to light up. I can get my EDI to light up. I can get EVPs from them, stuff like that. Now my wheelchair, and if you ever get a chance to go on and look over like the videos, I have because I do my investigations with my haunted items. I do them live for everyone to experience live. So my wheelchair, and this is probably the best evidence I've ever captured. No joke. I was telling the people, I said, if I caught a full figure sitting in my wheelchair on my SOS footage, I said I would crap my pants. Literally. I didn't literally crap my pants. I think I sharded though. That was a joke. But I panned the SLS camera over to my wheelchair, and before the figure popped up, you could hear a male go, do it, and then you see a full figure sit in the wheelchair. Full figure. Hands were on the handrest of the wheelchair, and the legs were right where they were sitting. I think that was like the best evidence I ever captured from that wheelchair. I caught the little boy who's attached to the rocking horse pop up on my SLS camera, standing on top of the rocking horse. I've captured full figures at one time manifest at once on my SLS camera one time. Out of two out of three dolls that were in the view of my SLS, and in one, I think it was the boy on the rocking horse. It might have been. I'm not sure about that, but I've caught some really good evidence. Now, I've had my garage door messed with, where it manipulated my garage door to cause it to go up, down. I've caught anomalies floating over the wheelchair for no apparent reason. Just move over the seat of the wheelchair. I've actually, have you heard of that, the Boo Buddy bear?
I've seen a couple different variations on that. There's the bear. There's like a dog one. I've seen a couple of different ones. Yes.
Okay. So I got the one that talks. Okay. And I have this actual footage up on my team page too. The bear I caught on my Nest camera. The bear asks, "Do you want to play a game?" I'll ask questions every 2 minutes. And he goes, "Do you want to play a game?" I call a female EVP literally yell, "No," live on my Nest camera. That's how much evidence I get from that.
Mm-hmm. So now the evidence that you're in, the footage that you're collecting, besides being on, putting it on your YouTube channel, are you filming a documentary? Are you creating a series of shows with it?
My haunted objects, I don't actually take part in my YouTube series or my documentary. My YouTube series basically is about going into locations that people reach out to us, or I reach out to them, and I ask them, are you experiencing paranormal activity? Me and my wife, we go and interview the people. They tell us what's going on. They tell us our story. They tell us, yeah, we're experiencing this, this, and this. So then we interview them. Then we do a night investigation. Sometimes we have to go back maybe once or twice to finish up filming. But we do a night investigation. We may have to do a second night investigation, but we do at least one or two nights. We go back, we film, interview them, do a couple investigations. Then I basically edit it all, go over it all, edit it all. What our series is about is to show people that paranormal activity is different from person to person to person. So when those people are experiencing something that they're experiencing, and then they tell us what they're experiencing, Well, me and my wife and my team, when I have a team, we go in, we try to see if we can experience the same thing. You know, if not, then we show everyone that we are having different experiences than the homeowner or the business owner. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
We
Yes.
basically are showing people that paranormal experiences are different from person to person. It's not always the same down the line.
Right. Yeah, because
Now,
different people go into different locations, and I think that you're right. It does depend on the person and how the ghost will interact with them.
yep, yep. Now, my documentary, that's a whole different story. My documentary is about basically something, my documentary is about a part in history that we are researching, and we're looking for locations that have to do with that history. We're reaching out to those locations and the business owners, and we're actually trying to find out if they will allow us to come in, interview them, and investigate that location for 1 or 2 nights to see if those spirits are still attached to that property that have to do with that history. So we are basically trying to do history, interviews, paranormal investigation, all 3 in one documentary. Now, what will be cool is once this documentary comes out, is we actually capture the voice of that person back in history talking to us. That's what our documentary is going to be about, that we're releasing sometime next year. Or maybe the year after because of the quarantine stuff. That halted everything.
Yeah,
So,
that's been it's been hard for everybody who's into either the paranormal or cryptozoology with the stay at home, because that kind of halts everything that we're investigating and researching.
Yeah. But that's what our documentary is about. And I was actually talking to someone from Travel Channel about it, because they reached out to me about locations that they could use for one of their TV series. And that producer said, I love that idea. That is a great idea. And I said, thank you.
So now, are you able to talk about the historical event that you're researching? Or is that being kept hush hush?
That's just we're keeping it hush hush right now.
Okay.
But once we get filming done and everything done, we might start releasing more information on it and start promoting it. But right now, we're just keeping it under, wraps right now.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Now, so you're looking for locations to investigate, and you're looking for people who might have experienced paranormal activity. How are you going about doing the research into the historical aspect of the location to see if it has any ties in with what you're investigating?
So basically, you're wondering, like, how are we researching out for a documentary and location?
Well, yeah,
documentary.
Yeah, to see how maybe the historical history of this building ties into the event that you're investigating.
We basically, like, again, we're looking up, basically researching online. I've looked at some Facebook groups and put a message out there in those groups. All those people have helped us and give us leads, stuff like that. And I'll be honest, Facebook groups are very helpful. If you're really nice and polite, they are very helpful in trying to give you leads. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I've been able to find on Facebook groups, people to interview about different topics, and actually I've gotten some really great interviews over the years with and gotten expert, in their field, from talking to people in the Facebook groups. So that's actually a pretty good source of information if you're in the right groups.
Yep. 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 I agree.
So now, what are some of the locations that you've investigated over the years and found evidence from?
I've investigated the Toledo Yacht Club, found some good evidence there. I've investigated Collingwood Arts Center, found some great stuff there. Waverly Hills, OSR. For those who don't know, that's Ohio Reformatory. What else have I investigated? The Chateau Louise and Luna Pier. That's actually our first episode of our series that's out right now. I've captured, let's see, what else? I'm trying to think of other places. I've done some residential investigations, and I've captured stuff like that. I've captured some really good stuff out of my haunted objects.
Are you
It's been like,
are you near any of your haunted objects? Because I just got what sounded like a child's voice coming through on my end of the telephone.
that was actually my son.
Oh, okay, good. just
run it
wanted,
up.
okay.
Yeah, that's my son. But no, I'm not near my haunted object.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because sometimes when I'm doing podcast interviews, either like the people's voices will fuzz in and out, especially if they're in a haunted location, or the phone call will drop, or we'll get interesting sounds. But so the child's voice that you just heard was actually Dennis's son.
Yeah.
Who was talking to him. So just want to let my listeners know that wasn't an EVP. It was actually a human child. So we're
good.
Okay. Yeah, I've had I do a lot of interviews, and I've noticed that I can interview somebody about cryptozoology, no problems with the phone call.
Yeah.
UFOs, no problem.
Yeah.
The second I start talking paranormal, and the person is either at a location that's paranormal, or they have haunted objects around them, the phone calls start getting real weird with the activity that goes on. And I always tell my listeners to pay attention when there's anything going on, because you never know what you might hear. So, but I always like to, if like my dog snorts while it's next to the phone recording, then I try to tell my listeners, nope, that was actually the Mastiff. She's, being needy right now. So I try to reference when, when there is a noise, so that people know that, nope, this isn't paranormal. It's just everyday, life.
Yeah, that was my son.
Okay. So now, with having the different haunted objects in the house, how does your family react? And does it cause any issues within the household?
Honestly, no. It doesn't cause any issues. My kids are never affected. They're not bothered. They're not messed with. Me and my wife are not really messed with. I mean, there may be a couple of times when I'm sleeping and I wake up for no reason, maybe once in a while. I don't know why. I've done research on faith because the spirit, is hovered over you, or, things like that. But But yeah. Now, I will say this, though. I am sensitive to the paranormal. I'm not an empath. I'm not a medium, but I am sensitive. Which, in a way, kind of cool, but in a way, kind of sucks.
Well, yeah, I have friends who are also mediums and empaths, and it's not that easy for them either. They get, they get sometimes overwhelmed with the input from the ghosts, and it takes them a little bit to sort through everything that's going on and give us information to work with, depending on the different ghosts. So sometimes it's actually, going in as, just a sensitive or even somebody who just is blocking all that. Sometimes that's better because you're not getting the onslaught of experiences that are, all the paranormal is pushing against you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with me, I'll give you some examples. With me, I I develop a headache. Sometimes feel nauseous. It's somewhat crazy. That's all. That's all I can say. I mean, I can tell when they're like really draining my energy. I get really tired. I start yawning a lot out of the blue. So it's hard to explain. I mean, some people who are sensitive understand, others don't. But
Now, you you do all these investigations, and I'm assuming that you've never had anything attached to you or members of your team and follow you home. But have you ever had anything like that happen?
some people ask me that, and like I tell them when they ask me that, I'm like, well, I own over 800 artifacts, so if something's gonna follow me home, it's gonna attach itself to something,
Right.
you know. So it's no different. It don't bother me any, you know. You can't. I mean, you can prevent it, but you can't prevent it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Either way you look at it.
Right. And so,
Yeah.
when you go into an investigation, how do you usually run your investigations? Once you're all set up and you're ready to go, what kind of equipment do you use, and what's your techniques for your investigations?
When we do an investigation, we basically we will like we'll like split off sometimes individually, or we'll if it's just me and my wife, we'll just do both of us. Like both of us will investigate at the same time in one area of the building or the house, because one's got to hold. My wife usually holds camera filming as I'm asking questions. We will, use spirit boxes, recorders, IR cameras, SLS cameras, K2s sometimes, if, EDI. We use the Boo Bear sometimes. Trying to think of what else we use. We use so much equipment. IR lights, well, that counts with the IR cameras. Trying to think of what else. I think that's about it. I mean, we used to use a DVR system, but we got rid of it because it just wasn't suiting us, but we're actually maybe turning back to getting another one to set up to use. But we might look for a better system this time. Trying to think. That's basically about it. That's all we use. Now, our technique, like I said, me and my wife will investigate together, start out for about maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Then we'll take about a 10, 15-minute break over what to do next. Sometimes we'll go from there and just split up. She'll take an IR camera and a voice recorder, and I'll take an IR camera and a voice recorder, and sometimes the spirit box, just to see what kind of evidence we get. So.
Okay, and so you're now some people are very basic in what they take into an investigation, but it sounds like you have a lot of the newer equipment with the different cameras and the different trigger objects. And so what if somebody's just starting out, what would be like the three main pieces of equipment that you would recommend getting?
Basically, I would recommend them to get a voice recorder, a camera with an IR light on it, and I would have to say a spirit box. The three main pieces. And then maybe work your way to getting like a K2 meter or EDI or any kind of device like that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think people are most familiar with like the K2 meters. I know that was like the original piece of equipment everybody wanted because it lights up and it's easy to click on and off, and people have seen it for so long on the different paranormal shows that that's kind of like the trademark of being a paranormal investigator, is having that K2 meter with you.
Yeah, but some have to be careful because some devices, even the SLS camera, has its false positives. So you have to really pay attention and debunk and make sure what you're capturing is true, is actual true evidence and not natural causes.
Right. Yeah. If you're self filming yourself using the K2 meter, you have to keep the K2 meter at least an arm's length away from cell phones or anything that it can pick up a signal from, because otherwise it'll create that false positive.
Yep.
So when you are able to this year, are there any particular locations that you're going out to investigate, or any events that you're going to?
There are some events down the road that we are going to be at. We will release that information as we get closer because we don't really want to release it and promote it if it gets canceled.
Right.
So we're trying to watch what we promote at this moment because there's two events that got canceled that we were a part of. And location-wise, there's a couple locations that we're going to be working out to film in Michigan for our documentary once all this lifts. But yeah.
Okay, and I understand about that because I do a lot of different events where I do presentations with Paracons and Bigfoot type events, and everything's kind of on hold right now until we know what the stay-at-home and bans and stuff like that are doing. So I can understand your hesitations to talk about any events.
Yeah.
So now, how can I know that you have two different social media sites for your team? Can you tell us more about your Facebook page and your YouTube channel and what the names of them are and how people can find them?
Yeah. Our people can reach us basically on Facebook at our team name, Cleo Spirit Hunter. We're on Twitter. You can find us at Cleo Spirit Hunter, and then we're on Instagram at Cleo Spirit Hunter. The website, basically, just look up Cleo Spirit Hunter, Google it, and our website will come up. So we're easy to find if anybody, wants to look us up. But yeah, you can find our public pages too, because me and my wife, we separate our personal life from our hobby. So
Okay. And then for the YouTube channel, is that under the same name or is it a different name?
sorry, yes, YouTube channel is under Cleo Spirit Hunter. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh, no
I was
problem.
meaning to say that too.
No problem.
And I do want to mention a couple of things. We are looking to do, we're looking to have shirts designed in autism colors. We're looking to have some Cleo Spirit Hunter logos and shirts made in autism colors to hopefully sell. The money for those shirts we're actually gonna put towards a autism foundation. Reason being is me and my wife are big supporters of autism. My oldest son is high functioning autistic, so we're big supporters of autism.
Okay.
So I just want to tell everyone, look for those to be out soon. I'm working with a company who makes our shirts to get those shirts printed and done. And the other thing is for everyone who's listening, always until all this is quarantine is done or stay at home stuff is done, please keep me and my wife in your thoughts and prayers. We are both nursing assistants, and we both are on the front lines of this virus. So we love the support that you guys all bring towards us, and we appreciate it. So that's the only thing I want to say is thank you to everyone who shows support to me and my wife for us being on the front lines, because we're both, we're just as scared as everyone else because we don't know what this virus can do to us, and we bring it home to our kids, and you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to, extend my gratitude for the support and love towards me and my wife. So.
Well, thank you for what you do with being in the medical field, and I know it's you guys are some of the most important people who are working with this pandemic, that giving the medical assistance to people who are exposed to it and suffering from it. So I thank you for doing that and for being there for everybody who needs the assistance.
Yeah, you're welcome. We appreciate the love and support. Trust me.
So now we're coming up on about 40 minutes. Is there anything else with the paranormal that you'd like to talk about?
Nothing really. I mean, just all I can say is follow our page. We'll be releasing. I'm actually going over old EVP since I had this downtime that I got a bunch I got to go over. So I'm releasing like some of those cool EVPs that are captured. I take like a video of it and release it and let everyone hear it. I have like a bunch of them I need to go over. I'm also working on my on episode 2 of our YouTube series. I'm hoping to have that out in the next couple of months to 3 months. It takes a while to video edit because you want it just right.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Just, follow us and just watch and see what we have coming. And keep supporting us. We appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And I enjoyed having you on the show today, and interesting topics with the haunted objects and filming your own documentary. So it's always interesting to talk to different people in the paranormal field and see what their take on everything is. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And everybody out there listening, go check out his Facebook page and his YouTube channel, and take a look at the evidence that he's collecting. And we look forward to seeing what else you put up there, and maybe we can all compare notes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, thank you, and have a good day, and stay safe out there.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for having me. And I appreciate it. And everybody's listening, thank you for listening to my interview. And I hope everyone enjoys it. And please, again, keep us in your thoughts and prayers. And that's about it. Follow our page. We have more to come.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and I will post your different social media pages in the description, so that people can have a link to it when I put this up on the YouTube channel. So for everybody who's listening, if you're looking for the contact information, I will post it in the description. So just look for those links in the description.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.